Salutations, my friends. As the leaves fall and the wind grows colder, the autumn skies grow darker. The sun begins to set early. Hues of red and orange fill the trees. The air starts to smell of cold. Fall is here, and it's the perfect season for gaming. As everyone hustles and bustles and decorates, shops, fights the crowds, you, my friend, will be laughing, sipping hot cocoa, hitting 360 no-scopes, waiting on Amazon packages. And when you're feeling festive, you can just change your wallpaper. Plus, with the freedoms of summer dwindling and all these deadlines, tests, and the grind of the 9 to 5, you need a place you can kick back and blow off some steam. They call it Steam. Praise Gaben. Alright, let's get this build started and go through a list of all new PC parts I recommend you buy in this exact order. Not really. And then assemble them together yourself. It'll be fun. Why build your own? Because it's just better, trust me. I'm a gamer. First off, for our CPU, let's go with an Athlon X4 860K. This socket FM2 quad-core AMD processor has a 28nm architecture with a TDP of 95 watts. It has 4 MB of L2 cache and features 4 cores with 4 threads, with a base frequency of 3.7 GHz and a turbo of 4 GHz. But with its unlocked multiplier, I'd expect to reach 4.3 to 4.5 quite easily, even on air. It does include a stock cooler that is a variation of the new 92mm Wraith, but without the light-up LED shroud. This processor is an absolute bargain with 4 true cores for less than $20 per core. It competes directly with the mighty i3-6100, but gives a significant cost per frame advantage when gaming in DirectX 12 and performs surprisingly well at multi-threaded tasks. Compared to the souped-up cell phone CPU you find in consoles, this thing is a beast. Once overclocked, its single-thread performance is adequate and won't bottleneck most mid-range cards, making this the best current processor available for budget gaming under $80. For better overclocking potential with all AMD Bulldozer variants, I recommend a cooler capable of handling a TDP of at least 150 watts, something with a large amount of metal in the base, as the socket on AMD processors can heat up quite a bit. Something to consider when liquid cooling. This is a beefy and compact cooler weighing 425 grams and measuring 87 by 102 millimeters, with a height of 125 millimeters. It comes with a PWM controlled 2200 RPM, 26 decibel, 92mm fan, mounted with acoustic vibration dampers. We've also got 3 pure copper heat pipes and a heavy duty all copper base. I really like the look of CRYORIG, and it's going to keep our socket nice and chill. Downdraft coolers and a lot of low profile options provide additional cooling for the socket and are safer for rendering, extreme ambient heat, or long gaming sessions. For most users though, this won't be too much of a problem if you want to stick with the stock cooler and save $20. Just keep an eye on those temps. For $19.99, this thing is pretty cool. There are a lot of options for motherboards when going with a FM2 Plus socket. I chose this one specifically for its low price. The Gigabyte GA-F2A68 is a MicroATX motherboard in the AMD A68 chipset. It supports Athlon CPUs and A-series APUs. We've got support for up to 64 gigabytes of dual-channel DDR3 2400 memory, 1 PCI Express slot, 4 SATA ports, and a pretty standard Realtek ALC 887 audio chip. It does have only 2 USB 3.0 ports, which means you may need a USB hub if you have a lot of peripherals. Other than that, it's a solid board with well-built VRMs and capacitors, capable of some serious APU gaming. With our 4-core Athlon and aftermarket cooling solution, we should be able to achieve some respectable overclocks. Only $44.98, and we are well on our way to gaming glory. Alright, let's toss a couple sticks of G.Skill Sniper Series DDR3 2400 memory into our rig. This memory has a cast latency of 11 and a voltage of 1.65. It does reach our motherboard's max frequency of 2400, and if you want to save a few bucks here, a lower clocked memory is going to perform just as well. the difference will be quite negligible for most tasks. I was able to choose this speed because this particular set was on sale for $39.99, but as far as memory goes, any reputable dealer with any speed above 1600 will be just fine for gaming. Just make sure you have at least 8 gigs. Now, to store our operating system and all our games, I've chosen a rather interesting SSD. Let's go with a Crucial MX300. This is a standard 7mm form factor, 275GB SATA 3 SSD with a TLC controller. It's rather odd because its capacity is 275 rather than 256. This does give us enough space for a bare bones Windows installation and still have 256 left for gaming, which is pretty sweet. This SSD also features Micron 3D NAND flash acceleration wizardry to increase and stabilize high-speed data transfers. It performs well with up to 83,000 random IOPS and sequential read and writes of up to 530 and 510 megabytes per second on all file types. It also has a great power loss protection feature with a little battery to complete write commands even if power is lost. This prevents a lot of headaches. For only $70, this one was a no-brainer. If you're looking for a completely new budget GPU option, you do have some choices. But while we wait for the 950 Ti or 1050 to drop in price, the only true successor to the ever-popular 750 Ti is the new RX 460. This thing is king of the hill when it comes to brands making new low-budget tech for entry-level gaming. Its performance is somewhere between a 750 Ti and 950 when it comes to DirectX 11. However, things do get rather interesting when you switch to Vulkan or DirectX 12, and the RX 460 pulls ahead. This is a very good looking card. XFX never seems to disappoint me. It measures 9.3 by 4.7 inches and is a double slot width. It features 4 gigs of 128 GDDR5 with a 7000 MHz effective memory clock. This is plenty for 1080p gaming. Based on AMD's Polaris 11 architecture, this chip is very power efficient with a TDP of only 75 watts and a 14nm architecture. This makes it a great drop-in option, much like the legendary 750 Ti. It does flex some gaming muscle as well, with 14 compute units and a core clock of 1220 MHz and 896 stream processors, pushing out over 2 teraflops of compute power. This places it on par with an Xbox One or PlayStation 4 and will give us some awesome frame rates in most modern titles. $119 is the price of admission into a whole world of PC gaming. The temple to house all our silicon deities needs to be something special. We need it to be tiny, stylish, but still badass enough to instill fear into the console-wielding plebeians. I can think of only one company in one case. Let's go with a Fractal Design Core 1000. Fractal is the best, period. You want a cheap case that doesn't look like an amusement park ride? Get a Fractal. If you want build quality and understated, nearly depressive sleekness, look no further. I like my computer to look like an electronic villain. This MicroATX mid-tower case measures 13.9 by 6.8 by 16.5 inches and weighs a little over 9 pounds. We've got 2 5-inch drive bays and 1 3.5-inch drive bay with 4 expansion slots and audio I/O located on the front of the case. It also features a simple yet elegant mesh filtered front panel, allowing for increased airflow throughout with a total of 3 fan slots, 2 120mm fans, and a 92mm located in the rear. $24.99. Need I plead my case any further? No objections? To finish off this awesome build, let's get some electrons flowing with an EVGA 500W. This is an 80+ certified power supply that provides up to 40 amps and 480 watts on a single 12-volt rail. This gives us plenty of juice for an overclock or even upgrades to a better GPU or CPU next year. We've got 2 8-pin PCIe connectors for crossfire support. EVGA is a trusted name in low-cost power supplies, and this one is pretty nice. It's got a 120mm ultra-quiet fan and even comes with a 3-year warranty. A 430-watt variant can be had for a few bucks cheaper, but it's worth it for the extra amps, and $29.99 brings us right in under budget. That brings our grand total to just over $400. If we head over to hwbench.com, we can see some pretty good performance numbers with our RX 460, performing on par with the GTX 950. 43 frames per second in GTA 5 and 30 in The Witcher 3, both at 1080p ultra maxed out settings, is pretty impressive at this price point. I'm expecting an awesome 1080p gaming experience, although you may have to drop a few settings to medium to do a better than console frame rate. And we can see in DirectX 12 titles like Hitman, the RX 460 nearly doubles the GTX 950's performance. Red team for the win. Alright guys, we've done it again, an off-the-shelf, all-new gaming rig that any gamer would be proud to own. Consoles are nice for couches, but this little black box is really more like an interdimensional portal. There is so much a PC can do, the sky's the limit. Welcome to the PC Master Race. I'll be back with another build in October. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and game on, my friends. This is Voodoo, and I'm out.